Welcome to the MFS Wellness Podcast, a hybrid structure encompassing health, fitness, self-improvement, and entertainment, where no topic is off limits and all opinions are graciously welcomed.
Let's get on with the show!
And now, here's the host of the show, Mike Sinopoli.
This is the MFS Wellness Podcast. I am Mike Sinopoli, and we are here with episode number 3 of our Divorced Dads of Daughters installment that we've been doing. We got this started up about September or so of last year, and had another one that we did that was right around the end of the holidays. And now we were deciding to make it a trilogy, and I am here with one of the two gentlemen that had joined me on the previous 2 episodes, Mr. Dan Wisnewski. Dan, the man, the handyman. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, Mike. Thank you so much for having me on again.
Of course. It's a 2-man show this time. Nick couldn't be here with us, but we do want to thank him for everything he's shared with us. This is a tough topic to talk about a lot of times. There's a lot of emotion involved. There's a lot to it. And, Nick really came out here and gave us a lot of good pointers. He brought up a lot of good topics and said a lot of meaningful things. So, I couldn't be more grateful for Nick having been on here. So, but Mr. Dan, you and I are, we talked and we said, let's do this one more time. Let's make this a good, positive episode. I know drama sells a lot, we can make it all dramatic and stuff, but we're just not going to go that low. I think that, this is dramatic enough of a situation going through a divorce, no matter how it goes, that, we have to just kind of highlight what can go right in a divorce, right? What do you think? So I'm sure you have your things, but anyways, before we get into it, how are things going with you and the kids and everybody? How is life?
Life has been good, man. Everything the girls have been in has gone really well. Like Penny's been doing, my youngest Penny's been doing theater. She's really gotten into theater, and she killed it at the last performance. They just had a performance a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
She's so funny now at her age and just like fearless. For her to get on stage, first of all, for anybody to get on stage or perform at anything, to me is a huge feat already.
Oh yeah.
And then she goes out and literally just does her own thing. I mean, she follows suit with the play, but the second show they did, she told us before the play, she's like, I'm gonna really jazz it up this time. She had me just dying in tears.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
So she killed it at the play. My oldest Peyton had state for gymnastics a week later. She did really well too. I'm very proud of her for putting 6 hours of training every week, like late nights, and I'm just really proud of just the effort that these kids are putting into their hobbies and interests, and it just reminds me of me being a kid in every sport that I could play. I was in, and I just love the effort I get from those girls.
That's beautiful to see, and you're pretty present at all of those, right? You make a point, you get there, right? Yeah, I'm the same way. It kind of mirrors a little bit with my oldest. She's been in dance. And I think that's as time consuming as gymnastics can be, especially going to state and all of that. This is dance competition. So we got, different nights of the week, three or four times a week. There's something to take her to. There's been a few competitions where it's literally your entire Saturday. But you know what? It's all right. And I like being there in a sense. It's a long day. It's a lot. But, seeing her up there and watching her start as maybe a little more I don't know how to put it, timid about it, but now really becoming confident and seeing that. And I do everything I can to not miss it, every second of it. I don't like to miss anything. So, and I think that's a huge part of it. And my youngest, she's been kind of figuring her way. She did some dance, she did soccer. And now I think the next thing she's going to do is tennis with my old man.
Hey, that's cool.
So
that's cool. Yeah, just you got to expose the kids to so many different things and just see what they latch onto. I would not have guessed my girls would have picked what they're into now,
right? Just
based on because your kids' personalities, right? So I just wouldn't have chosen those things if I had to put money on it. But what they're doing, they're killing it. They're enjoying what they're doing. I love to see it.
Very good, very good. And that's all we can do as dads. And it's as dads with daughters, you have to embrace that kind of stuff. They're not necessarily into the things like football, wrestling. I mean, some women might be,
Right.
but some girls, you never know, and that's all good. But hey, you just got to be there, supportive, be interested, and most of the time, I think we're genuinely interested because I really am, and I'm sure you are too.
Oh,
What about this? Summer's coming. It is mid-April right now. Summer's coming, and maybe 6 weeks left of school.
yep.
Now you've got one going into middle school, right? After this, and so do I. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So there actually big news on that one.
Oh.
We had just decided that our oldest is going to be homeschooled.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
So we're going to do a homeschool program with her.
Okay. All right. Do you mind if I ask what led to that? If that's something you want to share, if it's not, that's okay too. Remember, you can just say, "Hey, Mike, pass." That's okay.
You know, she does well academically, and sometimes I feel like maybe she's almost a little held back. She's one of the older kids in her class.
Hmm.
She was at that weird age where like she could have gone up a grade.
Right.
Uh, we had been pressed when she was younger to maybe keep her back because of all the benefits of being an older kid in your class,
Right.
blah 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 blah. So, but academically, she's doing really well, and she can handle more. We believe she can handle more academically than the school can offer her,
Okay.
essentially.
How,
Um,
how does she
that's
feel
one
about
of,
that? Have you told her this?
oh, she knows she's,
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, we'll I'm not going to force anything on her. Like she, we presented her with the opportunity, told
Yeah.
her the positives and negatives of it, and this is not this wasn't a rash decision that was just made out of the blue. Like this has been
Right.
in the works for most of this school year. So she's
Okay.
known that this could be a possibility coming into sixth grade,
Okay.
and she still wants to do it, and
Hmm.
we feel like if she does the homeschool program, if she starts her schoolwork in the morning, she'd probably be done with her studies around lunchtime,
Hmm.
and she'd have the whole rest of that day to do whatever she wants. If that means following a passion, she right now she's interested in she wants to be like a YouTube streamer. Uh,
Okay.
uh, that's what she wants to try. So she wants to do something, and I think it will give her the ability of time to follow a passion while still maintaining, school. Or if she
Oh,
wants to work ahead in school, she wants
yeah.
to see if she can progress
That's
quicker. And
becoming a thing. The homeschooling. I support it. I think that's great. If that's
mhm.
what you believe is best for your kid, they believe that. You and her mom believe that. I think that's awesome. And I know plenty that are doing it. I hear about it more and more all the time, and I do like that because I mean, look, not to go too off track, but in some cases, the school system is kind of grooming people to feel like, hey, between this time and this time, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 or 8 to whatever, you're stuck here, you sit here, you listen and do this. It's like grooming you to like follow directions more than be
Yeah,
yourself and discover yourself. I don't know, maybe, I'm sure if any teachers are listening to this that I'll hear it, and I'm sure there's something in the schools that are helping kids understand that, but I do like that idea of it. And I don't know how you guys are going to do it. I think that's awesome. I'm just good for
mhm.
you. To me, that's a daunting task to me. I'll be frankly honest, just in my own abilities to do it. I feel like that's a lot of pressure to put on myself. Do you feel
Yeah,
you feel pressure? You feel that's putting pressure on yourself a little bit?
um well, yeah. I can't say that it doesn't feel like there's going to be pressure, mainly from the scheduling standpoint. Obviously, like somebody has to be with her.
Right.
Um, so we have already kind of have a schedule set up now, that will work where somebody can be with her every day, whether
Great.
that's my ex works from home a couple days a week, my grandma comes over a day a week, aunt comes over, she goes to someone's house for a day a week. Um, it will make it work, and we always that as I said before, like me and her work so well together. We'll do whatever it takes to give these girls the best life that we can.
And
If
that's
that
all.
means we have to sacrifice schedule
Yeah.
to make it happen, we'll make it happen.
Right. And that's all you can ask for. And that's what these 3 episodes of this podcast have sort of been about, is coexisting with somebody that you had falling out with, especially, someone that was at one point, the closest person you've ever been to at one
Right.
point. And then taking that ego, tossing it out the side, and getting rid of it completely to do the best for your children. So I respect that, man. I really do. I respect what you guys have going. I think you made a great decision for your kid, and I think that's awesome. And let me know how it goes. Keep me posted on
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
we got so that'll be the first time your 2 kids aren't going to the same school, pretty much, too, right? Like,
Right.
yeah, it's because we got that coming up next year, where my oldest is going to middle school, my youngest will still be at the elementary school, and that'll be their first time separate since we moved here to a new area a few years ago. So I'm
Yeah.
sure it'll be just fine. I mean, it's going to be a little different, juggling the schedules because now you've got one leaving earlier than the other,
Mhm.
and we don't have a bus by us because we live too close to the school. So it was just pop in the car, drop them off 2 blocks away, and come back. Now it'll be a little bit different of juggling more time. And that's one of the struggles through this divorce thing that, I didn't intend on talking about it, but it's been one of the struggles is whether you're divorced or not. I think just juggling work and kids is a very difficult task. It's not an easy thing to do. That seems as if, like, for instance, this coming weekend, my kids are off Friday and Monday. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? She
Yeah.
works, I work. It's like, what do you guys expect us to do? What do we do here? You always got to find
Yeah.
something to do, and then the cost of daycare if you needed it is ridiculous. It's almost not worth going to work
Mhm.
in most cases. So there's all that, but it gets done. That's the bottom line. And then where I'm going with this, what this rambling that I do, is that it's awesome, and it is so much more helpful if you can put away the ego and go ahead and just coexist for the best for your kids. It's going to make life so much better. We do.
Right.
I'm not perfect. Not gonna lie. I don't never intend to be. I don't intend on being perfect ever. But but overall, the both of us have, I think, done well given the circumstances. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then also with school coming to an end come summer, have you planned any excursions, either daddy daughter trip or maybe a family trip or anything of the sort?
Yeah. We booked a family Disney trip
Nice.
for September. We have a couple camping trips with me, the girls, and my family. Um, what else have we planned? We usually try and do a couple family trips a year, so we know we're doing Disney, and then
Nice.
we'll usually do something else with like their cousins and stuff. So we try and get all the kids together at least once a summer. Last
Yeah.
year we did the Dells for a long weekend, which was awesome. We might
Okay.
try and just do that again. Um, so yeah, there's going to be something else in the works as well. How about you?
Hey, I'll give you a suggestion. What I thought was a good trip up to Minnesota and Mall of America. A little,
Yeah, I've
little
never been
touristy,
up
but
there.
you know
I'm
what?
like the only person that's ever been to Mall of America.
Hey, it was really good, man, because you could stay at the Great Wolf Lodge right there.
Okay,
It's right across from the mall, and they can do the water park over there. And then you just pop in your car
nice.
and you go to the mall. You get a day pass for the amusement park. You just kind of you pop in and out of the amusement park, do some rides, go to some shops, restaurants. They got all kinds of shit. I would recommend that highly. Right now, I don't have anything set in stone, but I did just find a place called Michigan's Adventure, which is
Okay,
up north, just north of South Haven, up Lake Michigan. Michigan's Adventure is like a water park, amusement park type thing,
okay,
up in Muskegon, and I think that's what I'm leaning towards right now.
nice.
Don't know if we're going to jump on a plane or not, but the girlfriend and I are going to Lake Tahoe in Reno in July.
Ooh,
So
there
yeah,
you go. Good for you.
so we do have
Sounds
that,
good.
but yeah. So with the kids, that's what they want to do. I asked them if they wanted to fly or drive anywhere. They said they wanted to drive this year, and I said, all right, we'll find something local. And my older daughter's up is interested in, like, going to new states and everything like that. So I was like,
Okay,
let's all right. You haven't been to Michigan yet? Let's do that. It's close enough. And then that's what we're gonna do. So
nice.
yeah, I think it's all very important, to kind of always have something going. I think kids, the way they grow and learn, my older daughter especially is very, like, into things. I don't know how to put it. Like, I feel like she just really experiences things. She's into it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know the right words for it, but I can see there's a appreciation and a interest in everything that we do, and there's a, she's genuinely interested. She's not just like,
Mhm.
whatever, none of that, not
Yeah,
yet, because she's gonna be 11 this year. So those teen
right.
years where they don't give a shit about anything, those are coming. And we talked about that on, I believe, our first episode.
Yeah.
Some of those things that we were a little nervous about, but Dan, I just wanted to put this into a positive place, which it pretty much has been all around. But I really wanted to go deeper into that for anyone that is going to go through a divorce, has gone through it, is going through it, may one day feel like they're going to go through it, just to kind of like put some things out there that we've been through. I have a list that I kind of just put together of about 7 or 8 things here that I think are helpful that you can do. And if you have anything to add on to this or interrupt me, Dan, just jump right in.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, if this is a tough one, and most people that have been divorced are probably going to roll their eyes or call me lucky or whatever, but try to have one lawyer in your divorce. Try to mediate anything you can on your own with them. This is where my second one is leave the ego aside. So the best thing you
Mm.
can do is agree to one lawyer, write out your terms and what you want to do and what you think is fair, agree to that informally before you present it to an attorney, have them draft it up, and then you can sign things off from there. Occasionally, the attorney will review it and then come back with some things that may cause conflict. That only happened one time, and it wasn't a big conflict, but it was something that needed to be discussed that they do in my personal experience. But overall, I think that was the way to go because I have seen horror stories where people spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on this process. So luckily, we were able to minimize that, and I think that overall kind of kept things more peaceful than this is my lawyer's talking to your lawyer. We have to use an app to mediate and things like that. I think it really helps. I don't know if that's kind of how yours went or if you
So
agree.
yeah, so we actually we did our own mediation without a lawyer. So we no representation. We did in person, right, with the judge.
Oh, really? So you
But
could,
we had, but again, we've gone through the time of having been separated. Things were already amicable. We already kind of knew what we felt was fair from both sides. We presented it to the judge. They gave us like a self-guided packet essentially.
okay.
All the forms you got to fill out, um, financial sheets and all that stuff. And it took a few trips back and forth to the courthouse because we had been missing some things, but uh, it was really smooth. It was cheap. Like it cost us pretty much nothing to go
Mhm.
take care of this. Now, I think the main point that I want to drive though is like we waited for a while to go through with the divorce when there were level heads. I feel like most of the stories you hear about divorce are when things are ugly and the two individuals may not be getting along so well.
Mhm.
Um, and then it's just such a bad time to go through
That is.
that experience when things aren't level headed.
That's very good. That's a very good addition. And it's not easy to do because there's nothing more you want in that moment than to be vindictive and attack this person for whatever has happened and do that.
Mhm.
And those feelings might even come up, even if you are in that position where you've agreed to a one lawyer or just to be presented in front of a judge. Again, that kind of like also not just for you don't be petty is another one, right? Like what
Right.
you're saying is like don't be petty and like really aggressive and things like that or competitive with anything, because if you're petty, you're going to waste more time and you're going to probably cost yourself more money,
Yes.
and then that's and for what the same outcome in the end. It's going to be the same outcome in the end, and you know who ultimately gets hurt? The kids. Ultimately, that's who's going to get hurt because this process is distracting you from them. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, man, like with my divorce, I felt like the hard part for me, the really gut wrenching, difficult part was I felt like I was divorcing my kids, if that made sense to you.
Hmm. Yeah, I
It
can
was,
see that.
and that's not, again, not a knock at my ex. Things had already kind of sailed, and it's fine. I was at peace with it. But the gut wrenching hard part was felt like I was divorcing from my kids. And then I think that's a lot of the hard part for many people. Did you feel that a little bit yourself too throughout it? I mean, after
Yeah.
a while at first,
That was one of my that was I mean like hitting home for me too. That was one of my biggest fears with divorce in general. Like even before we had issues in the relationship, because I grew up with divorced parents.
Mhm.
And when we were younger, my parents didn't get along very well. My dad lives 5 hours away, so like I only got to see my father once every 2 weeks, maybe once a month for
Okay.
basically a day and a half.
Mm.
So growing up and then starting my own family, my biggest thing was like I'll never get divorced because I wouldn't want to do that to my children.
Right.
And then it came to the point where it's like, well, now you are getting divorced and you can't really stop it. Like it's going to happen, you know?
Right. Right.
So I still try, like I will not leave where I live because I want to be by my kids. It's not fair to them that they don't get to see me every day.
Mhm.
I'll still try to see them even on my off weeks.
Yep.
Because they don't deserve that. So I know exactly what you're saying. I know how that feels, and I'm going to be here for them the whole time.
That's amazing, and that's exactly how I feel too. And now that this is about a year out now with all this and everything like that, I essentially am happier the way it is in a sense. I mean, I wouldn't say happier, but like just I'm good. Like
You
I'm
seem at peace. Like
at
like
peace.
I've known you for enough years now, and I've known
Yeah.
you since before your separation, and like you had moments where like I could tell you were just like stressed out and
Oh yeah, I still get stressed out, believe it or not, but over other
shocking.
things, I do. But it's okay because I like you say, I do see my girls on my off times. I do
Yeah.
have the ability to pick them up from school here or there, or occasionally they need to be dropped off by me for a minute if she has some work thing to do, and it works out pretty well. So I think that's a way. The thing is kind of how you explained it. You had a divorce. All divorces don't have to be the same. So I think there's more to, it has a bad stigma and it always will, but I think how you do it is going to matter on then what it really is. You can make it what you want. Not everything is black and white and cookie cutter and the same for everybody. Therefore, my daughter said to my ex, she said earlier in the year, she said that 2024 was like, she's out of nowhere. She goes, I think that was my favorite year. They had a lot of good memories of 2024. And
Okay.
and there was a lot of change in 2024.
Yeah.
So, and into 2023 as well. So, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you know what I really got out of that is that this kid feels good. I know
Yeah.
I think it's genuine. I've checked in with her, not obnoxiously to make her think something should be wrong, but like just enough to kind of see what she's thinking. You know what I mean?
They
So
feed off of our energy. So like if things aren't good between you and your ex or whoever's listening, you and your current relationship, if things aren't good, the kids will pick up on it, whether you notice it or not, or try to hide it. They're gonna pick up
mhm,
on it. They
right.
will. So when things are good, you'll see that in the kids' personalities as well.
Yeah. And exactly, precisely. And another thing that I sort of, resisted at first and didn't like at first, but now I'm kind of like really liking it in a way is like, so when you do get divorced, a lot of sometimes other people come into play, and a new girlfriend, a new boyfriend, a new somebody, and that can be uncomfortable and it can be strange and awkward, and there's going to be those moments, I believe. But what I think how to look at it is looking at it as more of a family expansion than family breaking. Like they call it the
Mhm.
broken home. How about it? Broken fucking home. Give it that name. No. How about like, all right, my girlfriend has a really nice relationship with my girls. She's cool with my ex, and she knows, I brought my girls by her family now, and it's just been a really good like now we have more people here. Like everybody was at my daughter's birthday the other day, and And it's like, hey, it's just more people. That's, you know what I'm saying? In a
Yeah.
sense, does that make sense, Dan?
Yeah.
Oh, so like for on your end of things, is that, have you kind of had that happen at all, or is that, I know your ex has a boyfriend or had one or something.
Yeah, yeah, she's still with him. He's a great dude. Me and him get along really well. Um, and he's great with the girls, and the girls adore him as well. So
That's
I
awesome.
very much appreciate that. I just see like how happy she is now
Mhm.
in that relationship, and like the like sub family that they have set up in her household. Um, and it's all positive. Again, it feeds back into the girls' personalities and how they are, and they're just so upbeat and positive. And that's a reflection of that household as well.
Right. And it's a reflection of you and them and everybody that's keeping
Right.
that peacefulness in their lives. And that's all they want to see. And I think that's just a way for them to grow. And I think it's great for kids to see that change is scary, but I
Change,
think
yes, scary.
change is going to be scary. I don't care if you're 3 years old or 93 years old. Change
Mhm.
is going to be scary and uncomfortable. But I think the more you can show your kids that on the other side of change, often there's a lot of beauty there, a lot of positivity,
Yeah.
and it's possible. So I think that's what this is kind of showed.
I
So
think it builds trust, and then that then leads to comfort
yeah,
and
healthy
happiness,
comfort, a healthy
healthy
comfort,
comfort. Right.
absolutely, like a safety almost, like a healthy safety feel,
Yeah.
a relaxed feel where they don't have to feel on edge or anxious or what's next or what's going
Yes.
to happen. They're
Exactly.
not in a environment that's keeping them on edge, which is
Right.
good, and that should be at both houses everywhere they go. And to close up this list I put together here, this is to me the most important thing. You had me list one thing, one single solitary thing that's most important to go through a divorce when you have kids, is to never make the kids feel like they are burdens ever in any way.
100%.
I mean, this goes for even if you're not divorced. Never make your kid feel like a burden, because that's something that they don't want to like, they don't want to take on that like feel of what did I do? That's the classic, divorce, fear, right? Like the kids
Yeah.
think that's their fault. I think a lot of reassurance, a lot of making sure they know that it's not their fault. Right. And did you
Right.
have, I had those conversations before I ask you, but I'll talk first. That I had those conversations and, not obnoxiously or ad nauseum, just to make sure. But like I said, girls, this is just what it is. It's going to be okay. And nothing you're at all. If anything, I said almost I feel bad for it. But, they were like, oh no, it's fine. We're just used to it now. It's just what it is. And it's fine.
Mhm.
We have more places to do. We have another pool by moms. We have a pool by dads. We have so it went well. So I think, constantly reassuring the kids that they're not burdens. Is that something you made sure of too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You tried to um, just always try to be positive. Like the kids are always innocent in these scenarios. They didn't ask to be in this situation. They didn't even ask to be born. You brought them into this world. You brought them into the family that you've created, and then now that family is being separated, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a huge change in a child's life. And like Mike said, the kids will feel they'll feel the burden of like responsibility for the separation. I don't know why that is, but I can attest to that from my childhood experience as well.
Mm-hmm.
It caused me issues personally, and I didn't realize until I reflected later in life that I had some issues as a young child with anger and whatnot that was stemming from the uncertainty of
Mm-hmm.
what's going on with my family.
Mm-hmm.
These kids are really innocent, and it's so important to be positive with them through the experience and make sure that they don't feel like they're the reason that any of this is happening. And it's going to take time. Like you can tell them over and over again every day, but it really will take time, and it'll take time of showing them that what you're saying is truth, and they'll end up things can be good.
Mm-hmm.
Things can be happy and positive.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what it is. Now, it's about being present and being there and being reassuring because
Mhm.
like it doesn't matter, like it's just the worst thing you can do is abandon your kids or abuse them. And that's it's just it's so weird to me that anybody in the world can just up and leave completely. You know what I'm saying? Like I know
Yeah.
there's always different scenarios, but
We know at least one person, I'm sure personally, that has done that.
yes, and I we all
Man,
do. And I don't understand it. I could never understand that. And then, like
how
you
can you
said,
do that?
I have no idea. I don't have whatever's in their brain to do that. It's a next level sort of either self-hate or selfishness to where I think that, I mean, I'm not trying to paint them as victims at all, but at the same time, they must be some sort of like low self-worth or some self-doubt that they carry so badly that they
Mhm.
almost feel like they can't do it, or they're just idiots and they're just selfish as fuck. It's one of the two. I don't know. There's probably
Yeah,
a lot of different reasons. Maybe they just feel like they can't handle it, or I don't know. I can't. It's a mindset that I don't understand. I don't want to understand, and quite frankly, don't respect. And
I don't either.
like you said, it's a lot of it could be generational and stored traumas and things like that. Because, like you said, you'd figured out some things about yourself in adulthood that had stemmed from your childhood, and that's really where therapy begins in many
Mhm.
cases. And I remember being in a therapy session once a while back, and they started asking me about my upbringing and my family and things like that. Nothing really came of it for me, luckily, and I'm fortunate for that. But at the same time, I was like, "Why are you talking about this?" And then I had to learn,
Mhm.
not you learn about stuff from your youth that shapes you up to the adult that you are. So that's why we are hyper. I don't say hyper focus sounds a little bit too dramatic, but like aware of what we're putting our kids through this process, and hopefully that this is not something that will have to be talked about in a couple decades in a therapy session. So
Right.
that's the goal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Trying to set your kids up for success.
right,
Um, you know,
exactly.
emotionally as well. Like you want these kids to succeed and grow up and be happy and healthy
Yeah,
and
and
go conquer.
independent,
Like go do
independent.
something. Go do something special in life,
Yeah,
and don't
Y-
be burdened with. Don't let me burden you. Like I'm trying
yeah.
to set these kids up for, you know, for a
I
good long life.
yeah. I just want them to be independent. I want them to be self-sufficient, but also know that there's someone there for them.
Yeah.
Like they have somebody there that's there to help them through things, however it might be that they need.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. That's the ultimate goal as a parent that you need to do. You need to shape them for that so that they can be self-sufficient. Because there is the other way too, where if you do too much and you don't let them make some mistakes and things, then they become afraid to make mistakes
Right.
and they can't do nothing, and then
Yeah.
they become
You can be present without being pushy.
yeah.
Just be there.
Yeah, and
Like,
you know what else I do? You say being present. I like when you said that, but because you can even now we do have technology, and I know it's a double-edged sword technology, but we're
mhm.
recording this podcast with technology. We're going to post it with technology. But another thing with technology that we get a little weird with is screen time for the kids, and I do agree that there needs to be a limit. But what is nice is that I have begun. I have these little memes that come up on Facebook that my algorithm knows I love it. It's basically like pick three foods out of this group. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
I keep downloading those to my phone, and I have the ability to text my daughters to their tablets, and they each respond. It's kind of like a game we play when they're at bombs. Like I'll say like, okay, you make a meal from line 1, 2, and 3, and you pick one. And
Yeah.
like
Okay.
this is a stupid little thing. That's stupid, I shouldn't say, but just a little, hey,
I'm thinking
interaction.
of you. I'm
yeah,
thinking of
I'm
you.
thinking of
Right.
you. Let's do something fun. Hey, this is just something fun. I know they look forward to them, and it was just a little extra conversation. So I'm just saying that that's a positive side of technology that we have the ability to do that. FaceTimes, things
Yep.
like that is really good. So without we like to bash technology a lot, but sometimes we shouldn't. We should be happy we have this access, although it is a little overkill in many cases. So,
It
but
can be addicting.
it is a little bit, and I'm no perfect man myself with it by any means at all. I can use a little work myself. But anyways, Dan, I speaking of technology, AI has been pretty up everybody's ass these days, and is really fucking freaky.
That's
But
a trigger. Yeah.
dude, I have a whole nother podcast of I'm gonna do of my list of fears of AI. So if you want
Sign me
to
up.
join me on that one when we do it, but like really, I have some wild irrational fears. But AI helped me with a list though. So
Okay.
I went on Chat GPT, and that's where I got this next list. And I asked Chat GPT, I said, "Hey, yo," I said, "could you do me a favor, sir, or ma'am, or it, or whatever you are? Can you please give me the positives? Give me a list of positives from divorce. Tell me what are the main positives?" And what it did was spit out positive outcomes for individuals, one, two, three, four, five, and then one, two, three, four for children. So I have a few bullet points here to kind of go over, and we can shoot the shit on them. So positive outcomes of divorce for individuals: freedom and independence. Divorce provides individuals with the freedom to make their own choices and live life on their terms without the constraints of a potentially unhealthy relationship. Yeah, right.
Yep.
What a kind of a cool little side like thing, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not side thing, but
Like a
repercussion.
bonus.
A bonus, like a little thing, like, okay, you know what? Hey, all right, yeah, this is kind of sad about the kids, but hey, look at this. I could kind of do what I want in this house a little bit here and there, and
Hmm.
and this is, and for me, I've never lived by myself until recent years, and so in the last
Yeah.
couple of years here, I've never lived by myself because I just went from my parents straight to with my ex and before getting married. So
Right.
yeah, I know you've done that yourself and gotten into some projects and things, and so
Yep.
that's a good one. The next one's personal growth and self-reflection. Divorce can be a catalyst for self-discovery and growth, allowing individuals to understand their needs, desires, and develop greater self-awareness. It's true, right?
Yes. 100%. Like, yeah. Oh my God. We could sit and talk about that journey on a whole nother podcast. Like,
I feel like a different person, from a couple of years ago to now. But
yes.
basically, this all starts up, whatever, right
Yeah.
around it. I think everybody, I will tell you this, though, and getting a little off topic, I think everybody has this feel, or vast majority of people who are awake and aware. I believe that after 2020, something shifted in people in this world, and I'm not kidding. And I don't know if you don't feel it, maybe you don't, but I know many people have felt it, have talked to me about it. I've seen straight up memes come through social media about how this something went down in the 2020 realm. I know COVID was there, but everything just feels different afterwards.
Mhm.
For me, I don't know if it's just an awakening of some sort, or if it's because as this pandemic weirdness went down, I was also began going through this as you were already going through it. And maybe that changed, but I know that through the alone time and the time I've had over the last year and a half, couple of years here, that I have been able to really look at myself differently. I don't know. How about you?
Yeah. I mean, you and me have talked about it personally many times, and to me, I think the biggest thing that I got out of, if I'm trying to see a positive in it, because it was this really shitty time that we'll talk about. I'm sure that our kids' history books will have the story of COVID, but you, I, to me, I learned a lot about the people in my life
Hmm.
that I didn't know. I guess I just learned a lot more about the people close to me in life, and yeah, I guess it really changed my perspective on others and how I view my personal beliefs, and those got stronger
Hmm. Yeah.
because
Great.
we almost got. I hate to say it, but it was so politicized that you almost got forced into picking a side essentially.
Hmm.
So like my it strengthened my self beliefs and my personal beliefs. Um, there was a lot of growth that came out of it personally.
Yeah. I think
Yes,
everybody,
absolutely.
I think
What a
everybody,
time to be alive, though, right? Like,
what a,
what a crazy time.
I just got the Facebook memory shit just came through within the last couple of weeks because it was my daughter's birthday. And 5 years ago at this time, she was turning 3, and there's a Facebook memory. I feel so stupid. Um, it's actually kind of funny because I believe your ex is in the video of it too, because we were next door to you, living next door to you at the time, and it's my whole family. My aunt, my uncle, my parents, my sister,
Mm.
my John's sister, and parents and everybody are out in the street, and everybody's distant and they're standing in the cul-de-sac. We live in a little cul-de-sac, like a 3 or 4 house cul-de-sac Dan and I lived in. And everybody's fucking ridiculous, dude. I feel so stupid. Like,
No.
yeah, no, April, it was April, like early April, April 5th. So it's like, you're still kind of like, I know maybe, I don't know. Some people were still really fucking weirded out at that point because that was
Yeah.
only 3 weeks into this. So I just felt really dumb about it. But anyways, enough about COVID. We know we can talk about those hilarious stories,
Yeah.
unless you had something to add.
No, that's
But
we've spoken enough about it.
I think we've said enough.
I'm moving
Absolutely.
on.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
divorcing COVID.
Yeah, divorcing COVID indeed, and for sure. No masks here. Anyways, improved mental and physical health. Escaping from abusive or toxic relationships can lead to significant improvements in mental and physical well-being. I think
Yes.
I think that goes without saying. While I will tell you, folks, that divorce itself will potentially put you in another toxic I don't know, mentality, I guess, in a way. There's going to
Mm.
be, this is after, I think this is kind of after the dust has settled, maybe, that
Hmm.
you'll have improved mental and physical health, because I believe going through the process at times can be a very big strain on your physical and your mental health and your emotional health as well. So Joe, I guess with that one, I would say that, hey, better days are coming. You might not think so if you're going to go through it. I believe better days are coming, even though there's going to be some hard ones.
Yep.
And
Just have
again,
to be patient. Have to be patient.
yep. Again, I don't know. Obviously, I never will. I don't think no. I mean, I hope I never know. But getting a divorce with children is a completely different experience, I would say, than getting a divorce without children.
Yeah.
I would think so. I don't know. I'm sure there's. I'm not saying, I think it's just by default it's tougher. I mean, with kids involved. I mean, in
Yeah.
general. I
Because you
just
can't, well, as we said before, like you could, sure, you could just walk away, but are you also walking away from the children as well? And to
right.
me, you and me agree, what kind of person would do that? So,
No.
I haven't gotten divorced before children, so I can't speak on that, but I would like to believe that, if you're getting divorced and you have children, you're still kind of bonded to that person. So
Yep.
it's in yours and the children's best interest to buckle up and figure out a way to get along, even if you don't want to.
Hmm.
There are ways to make it work.
Right. And I think the
So
best way to put it, I think, and it's hard to do, but I think if somebody wrongs you within your relationship, if somebody wrongs you, it's hard to do this, but you have to come to the realization that it's not personal sometimes. I think there's something up with that person that has something they're missing inside or that they have
yeah.
going on. And that goes, that could go for me too. And I'm not immune to that. But,
Mm.
that's just a good way to put it. Like, don't take it at you and just say, this is what they're going through right now. It did affect me, but I have a bigger deal going on now. I have children to make sure that they grow up right, and you only get one shot at it. And
Get one
you
shot.
only get one shot. You can't fuck around. You can't get distracted too long. You can't get angry. You can't get short. You can't take their youths away from them because you're being petty and trying to get after or get at somebody else in a negative sense. So again, you might in the moment you might not feel the physical and mental health hitting you, the improvements, but they're on the rise if you take the right mentality, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Next one for positive outcomes for individuals is an increased self-confidence. Focusing on self-care and pursuing personal interest after divorce can boost self-confidence and overall happiness. Yeah, I know you've gotten into some different things,
Yeah.
right?
I
Didn't you?
still, and I'm still, for me, the biggest one with that is just being open to like trying different things, trying different methods that you wouldn't normally try
Yeah.
and see what works. Like something's going to click for you.
Oh yeah.
And then you get excited about trying other things because it
Right.
makes you feel good. You want to feel good.
What you can do with a divorce, exactly, and what I think is a great way to put it. Obviously, if you start to see somebody else, there's going to be that time that's going to go towards them, which is a very good thing. But in a sense, if you don't have that, you need to split your life into two things and focus both. When you have your kids, you need to focus on the quality of the time that you have with them.
Yeah.
Then, when they're not with you, you have to focus on quality for yourself. Like, give that quality of time to yourself and do productive shit for you during that time. Okay. So, you know, maybe when you have the kids, it's 85% time with the kids. You're doing stuff with them. You know, this is bonding time. This is socialize. This is memories. This is what it is.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, no matter what, you're going to be doing something for yourself because it's just the way it is. And then obviously the other way, maybe it's 15% of the time, 20%, you're just planning some things for the kids, getting it set. But then the other 80% of the time, you focus on you. You get in the gym, you read some books, you go out for some walks, you do so take on some interests and watch your confidence just boost. The worst thing you can do is sit and stew in anger and frustration. And that's coming from somebody who used to do that and still sometimes does and still has to give himself a kick in the ass. I'm not preaching from you. I'm telling you guys from experience. And I know perhaps you've felt that as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So, right.
Yeah.
So, and then lastly, here on this list for the positive outcomes for the individuals that have gone through the divorce is an enhanced social life, if you so desire. Divorce can provide opportunities to reconnect with friends and family and build new relationships. So, yeah, you got to look at it like it's the old adage of, hey, that's not the only person in the world. You know, there's other forms of relationships. There's other, maybe that love has died and that's just what it does. And there's something better and bigger for you on the horizon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think it's important for me. Like I've definitely have, I don't want to say reconnected with my family because I've always had a connection, but I just make more of an effort now to like speaking of that, my mom is literally calling.
if you got to get it, I can carry it. Don't ignore mom's call.
I try calling. I'll call her later.
Hey, whatever works.
But yeah, I spend so much more time with my family now, and I feel like not that like I missed out on time with them,
Mm-hmm.
but I just love the time that I have with them now, and I'm grateful. Like silver lining, I'm grateful to like have that free, you know, when I have my free time, um, just to like be closer with them. You know, social life is so important. We're as a species, we are not meant to be alone.
Right.
We are supposed to be coexisting in you know, growing communities and whatever you're interested in, there's a community for it, and it's so easy to find now with online groups and Facebook groups and stuff. Like there's something for everyone, and there's groups of people doing them, and you can find it near you.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you don't have family, because not everybody has family near them, you may have nobody, and that's okay. You can find people that will treat you like family.
I love that. Yeah, that's great. And like use different outlets, like you said, like join different groups, find different places on what is it, through like Facebook or something you can get with groups of people, or you know, some people will do the online dating stuff. You can reconnect, like you said, like reconnect or see your family more. It kind of seems like it came full circle for you a bit, you know, like it's you know, this, you kind of, when you say your family, are you talking just everybody, like your mother, your everybody, like your sister, everybody like that? Or
my direct family, because like God, it sounds so bad, but like when I moved out here, I wanted her to stay near her family. Her and her family had such a close bond. I kind of walked away, like I definitely walked away from my childhood friends back home. I moved away from my family, so I didn't get to see them as much. And we did a lot with her family, like a lot with her family. And I always kind of pushed my family off, and I felt bad. And so now I get more time to spend with my family again. Even though I still live here, I still make an effort to go see, you know, my mom. I see my dad more often now. Get to take the girls with. Sometimes I go without the girls, so I can just do, you know, adult things. And it's nice. It's so much fun, and I still get to see, you know, the side of her family that I get along with still. They live close, so we still do stuff with them as well. It's been a really good experience, and I feel much more at ease and almost like I'm more at home again.
Yeah. Well, now I feel bad that this podcast has made you miss your mom's call. So, but she'll be all right. But hey, it's okay. Your mom's awesome, by the way. I do miss her.
Thank you.
Tell her I said hello. Tell her I said hello. All right, cool. And then to keep going on this list here, now they gave 4 bullet points of positive outcomes on divorce for children. which is something you don't
Mhm.
always hear. Improved family dynamics. While divorce can be disruptive, it can also create a more stable and harmonious family environment, especially if parents can co-parent effectively. I think we've talked enough about that.
Yeah.
That's kind of been the whole dynamic of this trilogy of podcast episodes.
Right.
So we won't dive too much farther into that. Next one is increased parental involvement. Both parents may become more actively involved in their children's lives after divorce, providing more one-on-one time and attention. And I think that's kind of what you were saying
Yes.
just now. And I'm the same way. I don't want to sit and say criticize myself too bad as like I was not present, but I'm way more aware and like more like, yes, I'm going there. Like, when they were younger and like little, I would, I tend to travel a little bit more and kind of go out still and do things because, at that age, it was more just playing a pen and, go to sleep at 7 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not that it was the best thing to do. Maybe I personally should have spent more time with them in their youth, which I feel like I still did. But perhaps when I look back at myself, maybe that's something I could have improved on.
Yeah.
So,
And with that point, I'll tell you, because I've thought about this myself. Those are years that like the girls probably won't remember, but you will remember. You'll
yeah,
reflect on what you did, what you didn't do. Those are things that you'll carry with yourself.
yeah,
So you're only helping yourself by being involved and really spending that quality time.
right.
Like you said, spend that time. Spend the time with them. They're only kids once.
And I agree with you. And I think we kind of overrate memories because I think there's two ways to build things with your kids. There's building the memories and remembering things, but your brain can only hold so much. Like I will see an older video of my daughter, and I'm like, man, you ever have that where it's just, man, I just barely remember it being like this. It's just
Yeah.
like I barely remember this. But at the same time, you're building something, and you're, I think there's, two brains in your body. There's your actual brain, your analytical thought memory brain, and then there's your gut, which is more it holds the emotions, holds the feelings, and all of that. But I think that is quietly being built in the background through those memories, through those different ages and
Mhm.
stages, which is why it's so important to be present, even if they're just 3 months old and laying there sleeping and just looking at them and then spending some time in there. Something that maybe I could have done better at that point. But at the same time, I don't know, but I don't feel as if I truly have any gaps or missing anything, and that was my fear. It still is a little bit going in through the divorce stuff. It's the time, the time I'm missing of the kids because they grow so fast. Have you ever like not seen them maybe for a week or so, or a few or longer term, and then you just feel like you look taller. Like you ever get that? Have you ever seen that? Has that ever happened to you or
I
not?
mean,
Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm
and
just
I'll be honest, I can't say I have, but I've never I think the longest I've ever gone without seeing them is like 7 days.
okay. Yeah, I haven't gone any longer than that myself.
Okay.
But like for some, maybe it's just me, or maybe they're just maybe me noticing at that point, and it just
Yeah.
maybe just that time away because when you see somebody day in day out you don't really notice changes, but perhaps
Yeah.
it's that
True.
when that little break of maybe 4 or 5 days or whatever it was that I noticed that, oh, you look, something's different, like you've matured, or you're actually able to pronounce your L's now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, or like something like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyways, going forward here, learning, the next bullet point is learning healthy relationship behaviors. Children may learn about healthy communication, conflict resolution, and the importance of self-care by witnessing their parents' post-divorce relationships and behaviors. Again, like what we've talked about, it all goes together. It's how you do this afterwards, and you have to just keep that going and keep it positive, right? That's what you're doing. You're going on a trip
Yep.
with her and the boyfriend and everything like that, and that's awesome. I think that's
Yep.
great. And it's awesome for the kids and for the parents because you don't miss out on it. Like
Right.
in my sense, it's like I'd kind of put something up in the upper bullet points of what I was saying before. The one I put together was like preface things, be honest, don't be competitive. I think I left one thing out, and I want to do, for divorce, I want to have done to me what I wouldn't do to somebody else. Does that make sense at all? Like
Yeah.
I don't want to. I would include my ex for something because I don't want to be excluded on the same thing on the other end at some points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting at? Like in a sense, like and I say the same thing for anybody, like even my girlfriend and anybody else and her ex, like, yeah, bring them around. We get along. My girlfriend and her ex, he's a great guy. It's great that we can all be in one place at the same time. And I just think that's another good thing to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, hey, look at
Putting egos aside, you know.
you know, right. And that's what my kids were able to see. They're able to see me coexist with their mother, and they're able to see me build this new relationship, and then watch her coexist with her ex, and like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is showing some next level maturity and understanding, in my opinion, right?
Right.
So we know that. Anyways, last bullet point here on this one: developing resilience and adaptability. Adaptability. There we go. I didn't do that bad. Children of divorced parents often develop coping mechanisms and life skills that may be beneficial in the long run. And I think that's true, right? Like I think going through
Yeah.
something hard at this age, like this, it's like it strengthens you for the future, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. To see the positive in possible um, changes in their personality, that can definitely, I can definitely see that. And as I said, like with Penny's theater, that could have been an example of that, where she's just so much more resilient than maybe she used to be. Like so much, her personality is so big now, and I don't know where that came from. Maybe part of me, and like as my mom, she's got a big personality, so maybe she's just taking after our side a little more. Um, but the man, for her to get up on stage and
Yeah,
just really go all out,
that's
that's pretty
cool.
resilient to me.
That's pretty great to see. And
Yeah.
and it's a double-edged sword, like most things are. The kids are going to get shaped by their parents no matter what, in some fashion.
Yes.
There's no avoiding it. You're the top role model, you're the top influence, you're the top
Hmm.
person that's going to give them the direction for as they grow up. But kids also tend to kind of evolve into their own. And you can try to push them to do something gently, and maybe it doesn't gravitate. But and again, it can go either way. But in some cases, maybe you've gone through this, you're a little nervous, but maybe they just are going to be okay in general, just on their own. Like it doesn't, as long as you're going through it peacefully and for yourself. I think the kids are resilient, like we said, and they will develop their own thought process and their own way of coping through things, and you might have that backing you up as long as you feel like you're raising kids the right way. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's a lot of crapshoot stuff. I think everybody likes to just like, it's very easy. What do you think about, here's a little off topic, but what do you think about blaming parents all the time for shit? Like sometimes I think that's a little unfair, but also could be. It's like I don't think it's a black and white. I think it's a gray area.
No, yeah, I think it's a gray area because I think naturally that as we grow up and you reflect on the past, if maybe there is something that like your parents didn't do right in your childhood, and maybe it's a memory that comes up for you, and you know, I would hate to hold them accountable, um, because you don't know what they were going through in their life at that time either.
Hmm.
Um, and I think the best example I can give is in the case of like an absent parent. So if somebody were to abandon their child, mom, dad get divorced, dad says I can't do it, and he moves across the country. Um, if he has any heart, I think that one day it's going to hit him that he made a mistake.
Hmm.
Now, the kids are going to they're going to have their lows from that experience. They're going to grow from it. They're going to go on and have a beautiful, healthy life. And that man is going to have to live with the decision that he made. So our parents, if they did something wrong, feel free to talk to them about it and at least let them know like how you feel about it. They can reflect on it and you get to move forward. You can move on from it. You didn't do it. So you can move on. That's something that they can think about. If it bothers you, talk to them about it. If
Hmm.
not, let it go and move on with life.
Let it go, just like Elsa said, right?
Right.
We know all the Disney princesses. I
Yeah.
mean,
No one's perfect, including our parents.
right. No. And again, and another thing to defend the generation before us is that things like emotional health and therapy were not very common back then. That
True.
didn't, I don't think that really got very big until the turn of the millennium, I guess, and
True.
essentially. So I don't think that was very taboo. Medications and things like that,
Hmm.
for your mental health, or whether, I mean, there's a little bit of a stigma to those too, I guess, however you want to put them. No shame in it at all, but it's just it wasn't there, and some people do need that, and there's nothing wrong with it, because if you can take some of these medications that are out there, uh, and be a better parent, why not? Right? I
Yeah.
mean,
If it suits you.
yeah. I know that, like, sometimes, there's that, hey, everyone, doctors just want to throw pills at you. I know there's that out there, but I think in some cases it is okay. If somebody could take a pill and become a parent, I guess I gotta back it, right? Like, I mean,
Hmm.
I might need it one day. I've been to psychiatrists to kind of look at it, but I just never did it. So,
Okay.
so and we all have our different views on that, and there's no right or wrong in a sense. But to move along from that, I got one last piece until we close it up, and I found this site. It's like a interesting website to maybe take a look at a little bit more. It's called the Hero Dad Mission. I like that because
Okay.
that's what my goal is. I know the word hero has a lot of different meanings, but it's a good one. As a dad of daughters, I think the word hero is one we want to close this thing up with, because that's what we want to be, for our girls, and
Yeah.
forever for life. So I'm just gonna roll through this. Is the reading on here is a little extensive, so I will not be reading through each one, but I will give you the bullet points. And the first one is to, obviously, and this is a little generic, but be present. Time is one of the core values. It's one thing you can never get back. So and again, like we said before, the thing about kids growing up, and the hard part about being away from them, is that they do change and shift so much between the ages of 0 to 17, 18, right?
Yeah.
They just change so much. So to be present and take in for yourself, even, I mean, either obviously for them, but selfishly, I guess, I like to meet every version of my kids, because that's kind of what they are. That's the versions. It's kind of like when you look back at a video, and say your daughters are our age. Our oldest daughters is 10 and 11 years old each. If you look back at a video of them at 3, you get that feeling sometimes, that little, like, what is that feeling? It's almost a sadness. It's not like a deep grief, but
Yeah.
what you're grieving is that version of your daughter. You're right. So
Mhm.
it's like
It's like bittersweet. It's kind of
it's
bittersweet.
it's bittersweet. It's a grief feel, but it's not as nowhere near as hard as something like death, or
Yeah.
whatever, or restriction, or whatever it might be. But I think what happens is that, the more present you can be and take in those moments, because no matter what happens, no matter how present you are, I think that you're going to feel that grief of that version of that child, um, no longer being here, basically, right? The
Yeah.
person's still here, but that version of them is gone. Does that make sense
Yes.
to you?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Okay, because
Yeah, absolutely. I
I
get the
think
same feeling when I look back at videos.
yeah, it's almost like, man, I would love to just go back and talk to my 3-year-old daughter. Like, I just can't. It's never going to
Right.
happen. But it would be just a very cool thing to do. So take those in. Another one is own your mistakes. Let's see here. This is a lot to read, so I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to kind of skim through here. So it's saying
Yeah, that's fine.
imperfection is okay. Part of being a dad and a man is owning your mistakes. Your kids need to know this. Just recently, they say in the article, I completed an exercise where I was asked what words I would include on my tombstone. This is getting dark. This is what happens when you don't preface. I didn't preface any of this. One of the
Whoa.
words that came to mind was imperfect. You see, I want my kids to know that I make mistakes. Okay, so it's like, okay, well, I want them here. My hero isn't perfect, and neither am I, and that's normal, and that's okay. So don't let your kids think you're perfect. You're doing them a disservice, because when they make a mistake, they'll think to themselves, why can't I be perfect like daddy? So
Yeah.
that's what they kind of said in this article here. Accept that you're going to make mistakes, own them, invite your kids into the process. Don't hide it from them. Let them see a human side of you, not just the hero side. I like that. Right?
Yeah.
I actually have to reflect a little bit to see I get a little embarrassed to admit, I think, to my kids that we make a mistake, because I think that we might see that as like a breach in the safety, right?
Weakness,
A weakness, or like, oh, I can't trust my dad, right? Like,
right?
I think that's kind of how it is, but that's not the reality. So, you know, I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think that's good, or do you think that can add anxiety to kids? But I mean, I don't know. It's like kind of one of those like toss ups.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, we know no one's perfect. The most successful people make mistakes. You have to make mistakes to learn, and
Yeah.
kids shouldn't grow up with the example of perfection. And because then when they do inevitably make mistakes or they're told they're wrong, they
Hmm.
won't know how to handle those situations.
Right.
So you're doing them a disservice by pretending to be right all the time
Hmm.
or pretending like you don't do wrong.
Right.
You know everything. Just be honest with yourself, be honest with
Mhm.
your children. And when when you do make a mistake, even in real time, you can always stop, take a breath, reflect on it,
Hmm.
and calm yourself, and then talk to them and let them know. I do it. I've definitely, I've, I've done it quite a few times, but I know as of recently, I had a moment of weakness that, I think I raised my voice at a time when I really didn't need to. And I had to go and, have a conversation with my daughter about, you didn't deserve that.
Yep.
And I was wrong for reacting that way. And I apologized.
That's
Right.
very great of you. I've had those conversations myself and been in those situations. And when it comes to the mistakes that we make, I believe, make them so it's kid understanding. They don't need to know, deep adult mistakes. You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Right.
I
Right.
guess, like, hey, oops, I forgot to
Keep it
buy
relevant.
your pancake mix. I'm sorry, kids. I messed up.
Yeah.
Like that, something like that. I think that's cool because it shows your take action, you take ownership of your mistake, and it's not the
Mhm.
end of the world, and you can rectify it easily by just going to the store and getting the pancake mix, right?
Yeah.
So number three is embracing playtime, and yeah, that's as a dad daughter thing. That's always maybe a little bit of a more of a challenge for dads because what do the kids want to do? They want to play Disney princesses. They want to play pretty princesses or whatever those games are, and you have to kind of play a tea party thing, and way out of your comfort zone, and just don't be
Yeah.
afraid to be that way, and it softens you as a man, and that's okay. It's
Right.
not it's not a weakness. I a lot of men do need to soften up, and nothing will soften you in a good way like having a daughter. Is that right?
Yeah. Just like, yeah, yeah, I think for a man, it's hard to be like vulnerable, even with your children.
Hmm.
If you have daughters, and it can be tough to be vulnerable. You have to just like suck it up and find a way to enjoy it because it's important for them. And you might find that, those are those like when they talk about like core memories,
Yeah.
for example, like my girls don't play with the Barbies anymore, but when they did, um, don't be afraid to sit there and play Barbies with them. Or if they want to, do makeup time or something, let them
Hmm.
put a little blush on your face, whatever.
Yeah.
Let them
Yeah.
do it. You can always wipe it off, right? Like just let them be goofy kids and have fun and be a part of it because to them it's everything.
Yep. Yep.
You, it's just 5 o'clock on a Wednesday,
Right,
right?
exactly. And do it genuinely, like you said, how they pick, you
Yeah,
said it best. You said they kids pick up on everything, You have to find you got to not do this with any sort of reluctance or especially
yeah,
any visible reluctance to that because they'll pick up on that. They're like, "Oh, daddy doesn't really want to do this." But,
right.
so you just, you got to get into it and just do it. And then, you know what, you're going to feel good about it afterwards. Number 4 is it's very generic, but show them love, obviously. So life is too short. All you have is right now. Your kids need to know without any shadow of a doubt that they are loved by their dad. Don't leave that up to chance. Don't leave it open for interpretation. Tell them and tell them often. Give them hugs, embrace them, kiss them. Make sure they grow up proud to be their daddy's son or daughter.
Yep.
So I like it. Because I do that, man. I almost I even ask my kids, did I tell you I love you too much? And they're like, no, yeah, but we like it. That's what they say. So hey, I think I'm doing all right. So yeah, you do, but I think
Yeah,
we like it. Don't stop doing that. I'm like, okay.
yeah.
You know,
Shower them with love.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then lastly here, fill your cup. Heroes think of themselves first. They have to be in top physical, mental, and emotional condition in order to face the evils of the world they are attempting to save. A hero realizes that his cup must be full in order to give of himself. So too is true of their dads. So you have to be able to take care of yourself as a dad. You have to take care of yourself. It's not, this is kind of ties into the fitness side of things that I do and the nutrition side of things that I typically talk about on this podcast. Because you have to take care of yourself and
Yeah.
show that the amount of positives that come from that. The worst thing you can do is feel like that you going to the gym, going for a walk, reading a book, meditating, doing yoga, cooking yourself something that's very healthy to eat, hitting your protein targets, things like that is not selfish. And society is wrong if they say that it is, because what you're going to do is set a great example for your kids, and you're going to keep yourself in a better position mentally, physically, and hopefully in life longevity to see your kids grow up and see them get married, see them have their own kids, or wherever they, however they, fuck marriage and kids. That's just a cookie cutter way to go. However they decide to progress through life, whatever
Yeah.
that is, that they don't have to have kids in marriage. See, that's my conditioning coming out right there. You don't have to do any of that. So, right, Dan, that's
Right.
that's what you got to do. There's just no way
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah, I would say speaking from my personal experience, that was something that I really had to work on with my self growth through this journey is like not being afraid to like put myself first sometimes because I'm such a giver to people. I'll give all of my time and energy to everybody until there's nothing left, and then I get frustrated because then I'll reflect on, well, why didn't I, take time for myself that week or that day? So it's definitely something that I've been continuing to work on. I try to do something for myself at least every day, or like block out time. Like if I tell myself you know, from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., like those are my 2 hours to do what I want. Don't call me, don't text me. I'm not answering. I'm doing my thing. If I want to cook or work on a hobby or project or something, I'll make that time for myself. If I want to choose, you know, something for me, like do something for yourself, even if it's small, like every day. Just do something for you. Just don't do everything only for you, but do something for yourself.
Right.
And let the kids know that like let them see that you're not afraid to prioritize yourself sometimes. That doesn't mean sit on the couch on your phone for 5 hours and ignore them.
Right.
That's not what that means. But
Right.
be the example, be the man that you'll want them to see what a man should be when they grow up. So
Right.
if you have daughters like we do, if you want your daughters to grow up and marry a strong man, be the man that you would want them to be with.
That's probably one of the best statements that we can close this thing up with, Dan, is
Right.
be what you want your daughters to be with one day if they do choose to go that route and get married and start a family and such. I think that's the right way to put it. And
Yeah.
just to give some cred where the credit's due, that list and on this Hero Dad Mission website is by the founder of the site, Shane Achey. So I just wanted to give him some cred. I thought that was a really good, concise list that he put together there. So, that's it. We've talked about a lot of things. I really, just want to leave it out there. I appreciate you doing this, Dan. I think that being on the other side of the divorce stuff now and really just moving along with how life as it progresses, one way to take it, and I've been doing this. This is not just for divorce. This is something I haven't perfected at all yet, but I'm trying to do this, and I think this is the best way to see life. Life is one big experience. You don't own anything here. Nothing is being taken with you. Nothing, not even the skin on your body.
Right.
Nothing is here. Nothing is forever. Nothing is certain. Nothing is guaranteed. So the best way to live your life and is to not take anything personal and almost view life as yourself as the third person. Don't view life in the first person. Pretend life is happening and you're just one of the characters in this big stage, and you're viewing it like, oh, this is you see yourself from the outside. That gets you away from the ego. This is hard to do. Does that make sense, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay, because sometimes I say things that make sense to me, and I don't know if they do to other people. So
I know you well enough. I know your train of thought.
well, good. Well, that's just something to try to do. Like, hey, if somebody's fucking with you, something's probably wrong with them, and just pretend like you're a bystander and you're just like experiencing it. It's all an experience. This whole thing is just an experience. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You know, we all,
Right.
and then that is more or less not even a parenting thing, but an alleviation of anxiety and worry from your body, and just to view yourself from the outside. This is don't let it, and then just, it's hard to do. It's not natural because we feel feelings, but that's the best way I can put it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not going to always be the way to go, but it's something to do. And
I think too many people try to lead their own life instead of just letting life come to them.
Yeah.
There's so many things that as individuals we try to control in life, and you can't control everything.
You control very little, very little,
very little. You have very little control.
Yeah.
And even when you have a good rhythm going, something inevitably will pop up, and you'll just get frustrated.
Yeah. And then with having kids, it's, you just exchange one anxiety for the next, right? Like right now it's, hey, these kids aren't able to be out and about by themselves. So, you always have to be home with them, or they don't have cars, they can't drive. So you have to coordinate with the ex and who's picking up when and where and what. But you know what? And one day that's going to get frustrating. Like, oh, you're going to be like sitting there pissing away, wishing time away, which don't wish time away either, because
Don't wish time.
it does not come back in any form. And the problem there is then you wish that away, and then all of a sudden your kids are 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, and get in the car, out of here, bye. I don't know where the hell they are. Or, and now you've got this new anxiety of what the fuck are they doing? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you want to talk about losing control. Like, wait till those kids get their license, and I'm sure there's parents, like, you could talk to, family members or friends with older children that are in that situation right now, and ask them how they feel about, the worries that they used to have with children have now changed. They're different worries.
Yep.
And man,
I see it firsthand. My girlfriend's son is.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's got his license and everything, and he just kind of goes out and does his thing. And she's a good mom, cares about her son. So it's like just one of those things. It's just like, it's just what it is. She's just doing it, and just that's it.
Yep.
So it's tough. It's tough.
Crazy. That Mike, for you and me, that is so close around the corner.
I know,
man. Oh man.
Well, I mean, even Daniela's already asking about riding her bike by herself to school. And I'm already like terrified of that. And I'm just like, oh shit, I don't know about that. It's also between that and just, I just not ready for them to grow up that fast. It's just like,
I know,
kind of like you want to see that, go back to that 3-year-old where they're just in a little play area for a bit, but it ain't going to happen. It's not how life works. Time don't exist. It's just
time does not exist.
There is no such thing. We just age, and we just put a label to it all, and a construct for organizational purposes, as you know. So, all right. Well, that's everything we've got for you here. Again, we're not experts. We're not professionals. We've just been through some stuff, and we'd like to talk about it and hope we can help anybody else. So if you need to talk to me directly, you can reach to me on social media. That's going to be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and that's at MFS Wellness. I do have an email address, which is mike@mfswellness.com. Dan, do you have a contact you want to give out, or should I just put in the show notes?
Just put in the show notes. Yeah.
I will throw that in the show notes. Well, I would like to thank Nick McCucci, who did the first 2 episodes of this with us, who couldn't make it today, and gave us the blessing. By the way, we didn't just do it without him. He gave us the blessing to go ahead and close it up. So we want to thank him for his contributions in episodes 1 and 2 of this. And if you haven't listened, please go back and listen. Everything, there's some good information, good stories in there. And we did had some good topics going. And Mr. Dan, the handyman, always a joy to have you here. I think Dan's going to be back on this podcast, but we're going to cover some new
Oh,
topics and some things, and
Switch it up.
yeah, switch it up a little bit. It's something that we kind of are now in moving forward in life. Everything's where it seems to be in a good spot overall for both of us, and we want to go ahead and just live our lives now. And if something ever comes up, there's no rules. We can always have a bonus episode if some things have gone, and maybe you'll hear from us again on this little podcast within a podcast, I call it. So.
There you go.
For Mr. Dan, for our pal Nick, who is somewhere else in the virtual world, thank you to all who listen, and we will talk to you on the next episode.